what's going on, everybody? The Modern Flirting Podcast is back in full effect. I am your host today, Dale Valor. And look, I really love doing these. I love doing these podcasts. And typically, Jared is the one that is hosting this. And I'm just contributing, as well as our other awesome modern flirting coaches, such as Jamie, Cosmo, Jared, obviously, Gore, Nicholas, Dong. Look, we got a full roster of cats that want to help you level up, not only in your dating life, and believe you me, we're all about that, but also just across the board. We're all about it, and that's what we're here for. That's what we're here to do, and we will see if any of these noted individuals happen to pop into the podcast today. If they don't, that's okay, because you're here with me, I'm here with you, and we're ready to talk some science. Well, not literal science, but we're ready to drop some knowledge. We're ready to get involved inside of your life and hopefully, improve it for the better by using some of the strategies and some of the things that we're talking about today. So, one of the things that, one of the questions that I get often and that I see posted inside of the Modern Flirting Facebook group and just here, there, and everywhere. One of those things is, hey, I don't have a wing to go out with me. I don't have somebody to wingman for me. I don't have a friend that will go out and, get out here and do cold approach and kick it with all these fine looking ladies that happen to be out and about. And I don't, I don't know what to do. Oh, you know what? Here's somebody right now, actually, as I'm like right in the flow of it. Right. So let's see who we got here in attendance today. Oh, there she is. Jamie, what's going on?
I just realized I probably need to switch because someone might need my, the modern flirting one.
That's all right. I have a feeling it's going to be you and I.
Amazing. Hold on, give me 1 second. I need to get a Band-Aid because I cut myself.
Okay, fair enough. All right. As she's getting a Band-Aid, as I was saying, a lot of times I get these questions about I can't go out by myself. I can't do this without a friend with me. And one of the things that, when I was coming up, when I was cutting my teeth, getting out here and doing the thing, all that kind of stuff, I did it solely by myself. So I don't really see that as an excuse because I learned by myself without a wing. I didn't have a community. I didn't have a coach to work with and all those types of things. I don't even have internet resources hardly of, breakdowns of, how to go out and do it and all that kind of stuff. I went out by myself and made it happen. So I really don't see that as an excuse, and Jamie, what I was talking about was because I fully thought I was going to be doing this by myself today, so
we wouldn't let your hand in. I'm here for you, boo.
Well, I appreciate that. So what I was talking about was kind of using that same mentality of how do you do things by yourself when you don't have a wingman, when you don't have a friend to, go out and do cold approach or, go to a social events and things like that. How do you make it happen by yourself?
It's funny that you bringing this up. I just ended my Inside the Female Mind class. And I don't know if you can actually hear that waterfall. So I just ended the Inside the Female Minds class, and we were talking about just not settling and just like, it's so funny. My ex-boyfriend used to call me insatiable. He's like, insatiable Jamie. I'm just like never satisfied, right? So it's just like this insatiable need to advocate for yourself, to go out there and just not accept the environment surrounding you if it doesn't fulfill you.
Yeah.
So that is how I would go out by myself. Like I've gone out by myself, and especially as a woman, that's like crazy, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's one of those things where I know that I can have fun. I've traveled by myself. I backpacked South America by myself, not knowing Spanish. And I was like, I'm just going to wing it. Right. And it ended up working out great because I think people really got that. Like the other thing we were talking about is like people like really mirror and use that confidence, that energy, and they want people around them like that. So if you can really embody what that looks like, it's really going to help your social circle and your game.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's crazy. You went to South America by yourself, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's incredible. All right, very
Yeah.
cool. You know, like, there's a girl that I know, and she had moved out to, well, Los Angeles, somewhere out there. I don't remember exactly what city, but she sold her house, was moving out there. Then things really weren't, she was trying to like break it, you know, in the music industry and things like that, trying to, you know, come up in that. Things really wasn't working out for her. And she was kind of running out of money because it's expensive over there. So what she ended up doing was she was like, I'm moving back to Detroit. And she was terrified of the fact that she had to drive from Los Angeles to Detroit by herself. She was completely terrified of this. And I was like, I don't really see what the big deal is. You know, like, why are you so upset about this? It was to the point of having like panic attacks. You know, like she was so upset about this. She was like, can you come out here and just ride with me back? And I'm like, no, like I got shit to do, you know? But the thing is that as I thought about it, and as you probably know, you know, from just, you know, our knowing what each other does in modern flirting and things like that, I'm a big advocate of safety, right? Mm-hmm. Of, you know, guys often don't really take into consideration what goes on in a woman's mind when it comes to safety, you know, because we don't look at it like that. You know, we're not attracted to a gender that's bigger, stronger, faster than us in most cases. So that's really what it boiled down to, is she just felt unsafe and not secure, you know? And so, but as that translates to guys, it's like, why can't you go out by yourself, man? Like, why? You know, like, I don't get, why do you need to hold your best friend's hand to go talk to somebody?
It's another crutch. It's like another crutch. People will make those excuses as any reason to not go out and put themselves in a vulnerable situation, like approaching women, because it's an easy thing to be like, oh, well, I don't have anyone else to go out with, so I just can't do it. You know what I mean? It's easier. Of course, people are going to always choose the easier route by and large, if it's offered. Right. So, I mean, but back to your, you know, your girlfriend, you know how many people, my mother included, who just walked in. I remember, I'll never forget when I woke up that morning to go to the airport to fly to Peru. She's like standing over my bed with like tears, and she's like, don't go. Like, I remember my dad like being like, I will pay you not to go. Like, don't go. I will give you money, because I'm a single white blonde haired female about to travel. I mean, of course it sounds crazy, right? Every other, you know, but I trusted myself. I trusted my ability to read people. I trusted my gut. And I think it's also years of putting myself in those situations to be able to trust my gut. Because the more you trust your gut, the louder it becomes. So, you know, I mean, with that, it's like, yes, I completely understand your friend's point of view of like, it's safety, but also trust yourself a little more. You know, by and large, people are good. Like, I choose to see the good in people versus the minority that's out to hurt me.
Yeah. And I'm
so, and just to end on that, the same thing goes with men. Like, you know, if you are only fearing women being mean and only fearing women putting up the bitch shields, only, you know what I mean? Like women, you know, blowing you out, that's the only thing you're going to find.
Yeah.
Right.
That's so true. And you know what, the thing about like what you just said, there's a guy that I know. I don't really know him personally. I just kind of know him online and whatnot. And I see some of the posts that he puts up in some of the Facebook groups that are designated towards, you know, attraction building and all that kind of thing, right? This guy man, does he bitch and complain. Like, and I know you've seen it too, certainly, right? But like this guy takes it to a whole other level of just like, oh well, and what kills me about guys with that particular mindset, and if I'm talking to you, not you, Jamie, obviously, but if I'm talking to you, you know, whoever's listening to the podcast, if this strikes a chord with you or you feel offended, then I'm definitely talking to you, because the only reason you feel offended is because it strikes home, right?
Yes.
This is a guy who you can't tell him anything. It's like he goes on there, he asks for help. Hey, take a look at my Tinder profile. What can I do different? Right? And everybody that throws out an example of what he could be doing differently. He puts up screenshots of his conversations with matches, all that kind of thing. But he knows it all. It's like, dude, why are you asking? Because no matter what somebody says in response to what he posts, oh, well, yeah, well, that doesn't work for me because of X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Or,
right.
yeah, I tried that and it didn't work. It's like, dude, like if you fucking know it all, why are you here?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, it's funny. This guy who I think you're talking about, the other day he shows a conversation from, Tinder or something like that. And, there's this here and there, but everything was seemed fine. And I was like, all right, well, then what's the result? Like, what is the question? He's like, oh, I just wanted to critique. So I was like, oh, what happened? Like, how'd you guys end it? Oh, she's on her way to my house right now. Okay. Yay. Good job. Right. Like, and I think it just comes down to like an ego thing, right? It's like he needs to be fulfilled. But that's the other thing that I was talking about today in the female minds class is, do you know what Maslow's hierarchy of needs is, Dale?
Say it one more time. I didn't catch that.
Do you know what Maslow's hierarchy of needs is?
No.
Okay. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs here, I'll see if I can actually bring it up. I feel like I'm in Joe Rogan. Jamie, bring it up.
Yeah, right. How apt.
Yeah, right. I know. Oh wait, can you allow me to screen share? I wanted to share this with you.
Yeah.
And I'll explain it to the listeners too. Don't you worry.
Well, here's the thing about that.
Oh, can we not do it?
No, you can do it.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that I think you should be able to do it now. I think.
Okay, perfect. Yep.
Okay. Now the thing about that is, just before you dive into that, what I was going to say is, we are going to be starting a Modern Flirting podcast YouTube channel where you will be able to see. So stop picking your nose, Jamie. You will be able to see what the videos, what we're recording, if you guys are listening on Spotify or Apple or anything like that. Obviously it's just the audio, but we'll have a YouTube channel specifically designated towards being able to see these videos. So you will be able to see what Jamie just close out that porn, Jamie.
Yeah, right.
But you'll be able to see exactly what it is that we're doing here. So, but go ahead.
Right. Okay. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you ever taken psychology 101, is basically how humans feel comfortability and how they can actually get to a part of themselves where they can make decisions off free will. They feel, they call it self-actualization. So it's the desire to become the most that one can be. Right.
Right.
But you can't just be born and be like ready to do that. Right. You have to have all these things. And this is, so the bottom of the barrel, that's physiological needs. So air, water, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction, like
your basic
that's like
needs.
The bare basics. It's like your lizard brain, right?
Right.
You need all that. Then safety. So then you need safety to be able to and once you have safety, that's constituted as like personal security, employment, resources, health, property. You actually feel that much more comfortable to then become the best person that you can be. But then after that, you need love and belonging, which is friendships, intimacy, family, sense of connection, right? Only after can you achieve esteem, self-esteem, respect, status, recognition, right? And this is where a lot of dating coaches, and I'm curious to get your thoughts, but a lot of dating coaches would actually argue this point. They would say, you need to have confidence to then build community and social circle. But I actually disagree. You need to know what that feeling feels like. You need to know that sense of belonging feels like. You need to know what it feels like for someone to accept you, whether that be your family, whether that be friends, whether that be some sort of community, for you to even then build upon and become more confident, become more, have higher self-esteem, right? So that's why it's so important, social circle. That's why it's so important, hobbies and community and just being social around, so you actually can identify and normalize that feeling of okay, I'm accepted. And then with that feeling, you can grow that into stronger self-confidence, stronger self-esteem. Yeah. And then after self-esteem is the self-actualization, which is the desire to become the most one can be.
Yeah. I've seen this before. Now that you brought it up, I have seen this before. I think, here's the deal. I don't know. Obviously, your basic needs, according to this, your physiological needs, air, water, things like that. Obviously, in order to be alive, you need those things, right? And the same thing with safety. But I think the top three of that pyramid, I think that they can be interchangeable. You know what I mean?
Okay.
In the sense of like, okay, so love and belonging. And then what you said was, and correct me if I'm wrong, but basically what you're saying is that you need that before, having the confidence of building out a social circle and things like that. Correct? Am I hearing that right?
Yeah. Like, for example, your confidence really starts with the relationship you have with like your family and your parents. Because they accept you, you can start, like, that seed is planted of confidence. So then by the time you grow up, right, you have friends and stuff, and that's what's going to compound that confidence and that self-respect and that self-esteem.
Okay. So here's, I guess, what I'm getting at is I can see how this would be interchangeable in the sense of, I agree with that. You should have a good relationship with your parents. You should have a good relationship with, when you're coming up, your classmates, your neighborhood friends, or at least kids in the neighborhood to make them friends. And then moving on, so on and so forth to, as you mature and, become an adult and whatnot. But here's the deal. So you may need more confidence in the sense of like, okay, so say I'm a guy that I'm good with pretty much anybody that I encounter. I'm pretty socially savvy, things like that, but I still may not have the confidence to step into a room of people that I admire. So we'll say, for instance, I'm going to walk into a room. We'll say it's a conference, and this group of people can significantly change my life just by knowing these people. All right. I may or may not have the confidence to make that happen, to introduce myself to those people, to, engage with them and things like that. I may or may not have that confidence. And, so I guess what I'm saying is that, just because I'm able to make friends with normies, quote unquote, right, I may not have the confidence to make friends with people that would significantly change my life. Then conversely, we'll look at somebody like, are you familiar with Henry Rollins?
No, who is that?
Oh, you gotta look up Henry Rollins.
Yeah.
For real? You don't know who that is?
No.
All right. So Henry Rollins was the lead singer of a hardcore / punk band called Black Flag. And now
I can see the logo. I know what that logo looks like.
He was the lead singer of that band. But what he does now basically is he tours telling stories. That's what he does. He's just a storyteller. But his work ethic, there's so much inspirational shit. Like, I love that dude. I don't agree with all his politics and some of his, some of the things that he stands for and whatnot, but that's okay. I find him super inspirational. All right. He's top 5 for me. All right. Well, that dude, he's like one of these people that he struggles with making friends. He talks about it a lot. He really doesn't have interpersonal relationships. He's a loner. He's a lone wolf. However, he can stand in front of a crowd of 10,000 people and tell a story and be good. Like, I remember he's been on Joe Rogan a few times, and I remember one time he was talking about how say he's cool with somebody. He's like, look, if that person's in a bad spot, say they need to be bailed out of jail for some reason, or, hey man, can you come pick me up? I know it's a 5-hour drive, but I'm stranded here. Can you come get me? He's like, done deal. I'm on my way. Don't even sweat it. Here I come.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't invite me to dinner. Because he doesn't want to, he feels awkward about himself and things like that in one-on-one conversations, but he can address an entire audience and make moves inside of the music industry and things like that with
Totally
powerful people, but he can't have interpersonal relationships. He's really struggles with that. So according to that hierarchy that you just broke down, that would be a mixed match of order, right?
I mean, I think the thing that what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to this, is by having just any sort of belonging, you can get to that next step of self-esteem. And then having that self-esteem, that is what allows you to then do these great things, like talk in front of people, like, all of these great things. But it's not like you have to be this popular person and whatnot, but it's why people, like, I'll give you another example. Do you remember did your mom ever make you watch Oprah? Not make you watch, but my mom always had Oprah on when I was coming home from school. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, she's who hates Oprah?
I can't stand her, but go ahead.
Really?
Continue.
Oh gosh. Crazy. Anyway, so I remember she'd have all these like crazy, like guests and whatnot. But there was this one girl where her mom, it was like one of those like The Room situations where the mom was like totally inept, locked this girl in her room since birth, that she had no social interaction whatsoever.
Right.
And they found her when she was 10, and even years and years and years of socializing, she was adopted by this amazing family that like took her in.
So
she can't eat, she can't do anything because she's never had that. Even now it's the same. There's nothing technically wrong with her either.
Did CPS come get her or something?
Yeah, CPS found her.
Gotcha.
And so because she never had that basis of like what love is or what just human connection is at all, she could never get past any sort of social anything because she was never familiar. And so with that, like, yes, this guy maybe, doesn't have a lot of friends, but I'd wonder, like, when he grew up, did his parents accept him for who he was?
His
that
dad,
allowed him
no.
to have
his mom, yes.
Yeah. So
I know his story back and forth. You know what I mean?
So,
like, I know him well.
Totally. So even just like one parent, just like that feeling of like, okay, this is what, but also because his dad, and because he maybe not had a lot of friends growing up, this is also maybe why he's just not normalized what a real relationship looks like or takes joy out of it. Mm-hmm. But even just having that one parent that gives you acceptance and gives you that sort of love really anchors who you are as a person, and therefore your confidence and self-esteem can grow and can allow you to even have that opportunity to talk in front of crowds. But either way, I mean, I think what I'm trying to get at for our listeners is, if you are finding yourself in a situation where you are comfortable, or not comfortable, but you're just, you've accepted, like, okay, I hang out with these friends, and these friends have been around forever, and they're okay. They don't really make me feel great or special, but you hang out because we've hung out forever, and it's just like settling. You're just like settling.
It's
and
routine.
and you also right, and you also lack confidence. That might be why.
Yeah.
Constantly strive to surround yourself with people who make you feel good about yourself.
I totally agree with that 100%. How would you define confidence?
Confidence is, I was reading a book and they actually said, I don't remember what book was it.
Oh, it's a
Oh,
dictionary.
the power of Brene Brown's Power of Vulnerability. Although I'm totally going to paraphrase. She's another really good one. But Power of Vulnerability, I forgot what they said, but confidence is your belief in yourself. Oh, fuck, what was it? It was basically like your belief in yourself for either doing hard things or your belief in yourself that you can achieve whatever goal you set out to make.
Okay.
It really comes down to the belief in yourself.
Yeah. I think it boils down to, well, yeah, that, but I think to go a little bit deeper on that, I think it's the realization that you can accomplish something at a certain point. So in other words, I'm not technologically savvy at all. Like it's a miracle that I'm even doing this. Okay. So, that being said, I'm not like, if, for instance, if you were like, hey, Dale, you should totally download this app to your phone. All you got to do is do X, Y, and Z, and then do this and that and this and that, and it's going to open up Pandora's box of knowledge, whatever. I would not feel comfortable with myself being able to do that. Okay. But even through that uncomfortability, I'll give you a better example. Discord. Right? When Jared's like, yo, we're going to do Discord. I'm like, man, is this something else that I fucking have to learn?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm like, I don't know shit about Discord. I don't even know what it is. And so I'm frustrated immediately. Like, God damn it, another communication app that I don't know what to do, that I'm going to have to figure out. So, but here's the thing. The key in that, what I just said is, I'm frustrated, but I'm going to have to figure it out. Meaning I'm confident enough to know that I could probably figure it out. And even if I can't figure it out, I could ask Phil, I could ask Jared. He's probably not going to give me many answers, but
yeah, he's useless.
Brain fog cat. But, but here's the thing. I know that I will be able to fumble my way through it and figure it out at a certain point. It might not be immediately. I might not have a handle on it right from Jump Street, but I will be able to figure it out. So I have the confidence that it will get done at a certain point in time. Might not be as fast as you, might not be as fast as Cosmo or the guys in Modern Flirting, the students and whatnot. Might take me a little bit more time, but I will be able to figure it out eventually. I have the confidence that I can do that. My Instagram got hacked. Okay. I've been locked out of my Instagram for about 3 weeks now.
Fuck.
Yeah, it sucks. So here's the deal. I'm confident that at a certain point in time, I'll be able to get into it. I'll be able to figure it out. I'll be able to work this thing out, get help, whatever. I'm confident I'll get into it. Might not be tomorrow. Might be 3 months from now, but I will get into that thing. I'm confident in that, okay, that I can manage that, figure it out. I think where a lot of guys, the problem is where a lot of guys lack confidence is because they lack competence. They don't understand how to make something work. They don't understand how to, like we're talking about, to kind of reel it back into what, I guess what we're talking about, in the sense of being able to have a social circle, be able to approach that girl, be able to, you have these basic needs met, but on top of that, to be able to form relationships with people and things of that sort. They don't have the competence to do it. Therefore, they don't have the confidence to do it.
Totally.
So that's what, in my opinion, with Modern Flirting, if I was to sum it up in a basic sense, it's about giving you the competence. I can't give you confidence. cannot gift you confidence. If I could, I would, but I can't. And neither can you, Jamie. Neither can any of us. I can't make somebody be confident. But what I can do, and what you can do, Jared, Cosmo, what we can do is make somebody competent.
Competent, right?
Right.
And competent, but I would actually argue that competence is only half the, because, well, competence is really broken up by two different things. Competence is also skill set and time or experience doing it. So that's the other thing. I don't know, like one of my biggest pet peeves is like, I'll give a guy all of, like, for online dating, for example, I'll like tell them what photos to use. I'll edit. I'll even take the time to edit their photos. I'll tell them what order to do. I'll tell them, you know, we'll rewrite your prompts and bios together. And then they don't change it. They're like, I still got to get around to doing it. I still got to do this. And I'm like, what? Like, actually, like, my biggest piece of advice to people is implement the stuff that we're teaching you, because just because
you were singing my song. Preach.
Right. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Competence is the skill set and the know-how, but you can't even really get there without the time and experience and the field testing and the failure that comes with actually achieving it. And that's really what it takes to, like, no, I feel like competence is made up of two things, right? So,
well,
yeah,
I think it's semantics, but I think competence is knowledge. Now,
right.
the application of that knowledge is wisdom. Okay.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So, that one. I mean, it's kind of semantics, but here's the thing. I was just, oh my God, I was blowing up on dudes last night in my class.
Did I strike something in you?
No, well, if you watch the replay of that class, I had to apologize to a degree, because I'm like, I know I'm yelling at you guys. All right. But this is out of my own frustration. I'm not yelling at any one of you directly. Unless you take offense to this, then I am talking to you. Okay. But what I was saying was, I was like, look, you guys pay money to be in this program. And this is what sparked it, by the way. This is what sparked the whole thing. We're doing a retreat this weekend in Fort Lauderdale, right? That's one of the perks of being a part of Modern Flirting. It's 100%.
And I'm excited to get to meet you.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, one of the perks is that you get to come down quarterly, 4 times a year, and just hang out, chill, do a bunch of cool shit, get to know each other, and level up and bond as modern flirting family, all that kind of thing. Right. That's what it's about. So Jared reaches out to me and he's like, hey man, I'm gonna send you this Google Drive with a sheet of the guys I have just not had the time to reach out to just personally invite them. Can you do that? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I got you. So I go through, I'm texting everybody, I'm calling everybody, and you would not, this fucking blows my mind. Like, I hit up Jared immediately. I was like, what are these guys' problems? Like, what is going on here? The amount of guys that reached out, when I reached out to them, their response was, wait, who are you? What is this about?
Oh my God.
And I'm like, how are you in Modern Flirting and you don't know?
It's not cheap. It's not cheap.
I know that. And that's what I'm getting at is I was like, okay. And not to sound, egotistical or anything like that, but it's like, dude, how do you not know who I am?
Right.
And it's not just me. It's like, if it was you, like, how do you not know who Jamie is? How do you not know who Cosmo is? Right. So, my thing was, I was like, and it wasn't just one example of this. This was happening time and time again. Wait, when is this? What is this? What's this about? And I'm like, what? And so when I got on my class last night, I was like, look, you guys, it's not cheap to be a Modern Flirting. All right. It is not. All right. How is it that you're a part of this and you don't even know who the coaches are, what's going on, where to find out what's going on? Like, how are you so out of the loop, but yet you pay all this money to be in it? I'm the type of person, I will squeeze every penny of value out of something. Like when I see the give a penny, take a penny thing at the gas station, I'm like, whoop.
You're
You know
that
what
guy.
I mean?
You're that guy, Dale.
If I see silver in that thing, I will take the whole trade. You know, but I want every penny of value that I can get. Anything I can squeeze out of it, I will get it. Every single little drop, you know,
Right.
and it blows my mind that people are a part of it and don't utilize the opportunities. I put a story out on Facebook today, summing that up. I'm like, yo, take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you.
Yes.
Why are you not taking it there? And by the way, for the people, I'm kind of on a tangent now, but here's the thing: for the guys that are listening to this, you downloaded this podcast, you're listening to it, and you're like, damn, I really want to be a part of modern flirting, but you know, it is what it is. I'm you know, look, it's been tough financially for me. It's not something I can afford to be a part of, but shit, I really wish I could. Look, we have a free Facebook group. We put out all kinds of free content. There's so much free content available to my YouTube. I just put a new YouTube video up today. All right. And I break things down very well. All right. And so look, there's all kinds of free content available for you. Take advantage. If you can't be a part of modern flirting because of a financial situation, I get it. I totally understand. There's been tons of times in my life I wish I could have been a part of something, but I couldn't because I simply could not afford it. All right.
Right.
But what can I do beneath that? What information can I gather? Look, a library card is free, man. The internet is basically free.
Right.
All you got to do, if you want that information, you're going to have to work a lot harder than somebody who just has access to a coach 24/7 like us.
Yeah, because you don't get that dialogue. You're just trying to figure it out yourself.
Right. And that's, look, I tell people, like, and a matter of fact, kind of circle back to the
that was you.
podcast. I did everything that I know, everything that I teach, 90% of it was learned on my own. I didn't have a wingman. I didn't have a community. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a coach. I fucking didn't have YouTube because it didn't really exist. I mean, it was like way new. Okay. Like it wasn't like today where you could be like, how do you kiss a girl? Oh, here's 50,000 videos on how to do something. You know, I didn't have the accessibility to that type of information. So all I could do was take the little amount of information that I could get off of message boards and news groups and things like that. Half of you guys probably don't even know what that is, you know, but all I could do is take that information and go out and apply it and see what worked for me, what didn't, and start cobbling together what worked for me, discard what didn't. And that's what separates somebody who's going to get it done. Now I get paid to talk to you guys, just much like Jamie. You know, we get paid to do this, you know, and it's because of the simple fact that I was able to go out and do it, apply it, learn, try things, experiment, see what works, see what doesn't. Most guys will not do that. They will not. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it is unfortunate. I loved everything you just said. I mean, it's so true. It's really just getting comfortable with being your own advocate, by putting yourself out there, and that confidence really acts as like a shield to allow you to go out and put yourself in that vulnerable state, right? For the greater good, But yeah, I mean, you know, it's so very important.
Yeah, and believe you me, I was not confident, right? Like, I wasn't like, oh, I found all this information, and since I'm so confident, I'm just going to go out here and do it, and it's all going to work out. Like, no, that was not the case. You know, where I knew that here's where my confidence lied. I did have some confidence, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to go out there and do that. But here's where my confidence lied. I'm a very DIY type of person.
Mhm.
And I've always been like that, you know, and I'm very driven, and I'm extremely hardworking. Okay. And so given that aesthetic, uh, I knew that if I put in the work, I will be able to learn. That's where my confidence lies. I'll be able to learn. I know I can learn. And so let me learn what works for me. And so was I confident that, like, you know, like, oh, I'm going to go step to this actress, super famous actress or something like that? No, I had to work up to that shit. You know, like I
Mhm.
had to start getting comfortable with even just talking to people, like at the, like even an old man. I was uncomfortable with that. That old man was not hot. Trust me. You know, but I started with asking people where the cereal aisle was at the grocery
Baby
store.
steps.
And that
Yeah.
was a challenge. But I had to start somewhere and start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, and
Yeah.
start being comfortable with doing what I can do. I think a lot of guys, I think where they struggle, and I'd love for you to touch on this. I think where a lot of guys struggle is that they don't start because they're intimidated by the end, by the finish.
Yes. It's like you
And
have to be willfully ignorant. You just have to just go and just be blind, you know, and not judge yourself and not judge others and not set expectations. Like the only expectation that you should set for yourself is that you're going to fail and you're going to learn. And this is what learning looks like. It's just unfortunately in this culture we're so obsessed with demonizing failure and making you feel worse about it, and it's you that's doing it, when in reality it's how everyone learned everything
yeah,
is through failure and through trying again. So the beauty isn't in the failure, the beauty is in the relentlessness
yeah.
of getting back up.
Yep, yep. There's you ever see Rocky Balboa?
No.
Oh shit.
I
You
am the
you have like
tiger,
zero frame of reference. No,
whatever.
not the old, not the old Rocky. Like
Oh,
the, anyway, I got a big long story about that, but we don't really have time for all that. Well, I used to have a radio show, and I got to go to press junket and all this stuff with
that's where that
wrestlers.
voice comes from.
What's that?
You do have a voice for radio.
I got a face for radio too, but
Nah. Not you said
but
it, not me. I'm just kidding.
but here's the deal. So in Rocky Balboa, there's a very inspirational speech. It's been memed to death. I see it all the time, where he's talking to his son, and his son's talking about giving up on some of the things that he's trying to do, and and what Rocky says to him basically is, life is about, you're going to get knocked down. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. It's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get back up. That's what it's about. If you can, life will crush you. It will keep you down if you let it. Fortunately for you, listener, fortunately for you, you have the wherewithal to get back up. But it's a cognitive choice. If you don't choose to get back up, then there you lie in the
Right.
street, on the sidewalk, in the gutter, and you're
Mhm.
crushed. Your girlfriend broke up with you, your wife left, somebody cheated on somebody, whatever the fuck is going on inside of your life that is so crushing. And I get it, we've all been there. But
Mhm.
whatever that thing is, you have the choice. And that's the beauty of this. You have the choice to get back up should you choose to do it. If you choose to lay down, you will always be laying down.
Yeah, it's your choice to stay. Do you watch The Boys? The Boys
Nah,
new season just came out,
I'm familiar with it. I know what it is, but I've never seen
oh,
it.
it's such a good show. But they had a line in there where the guy he was saying is like He's like, just because you fall doesn't mean you need to stay down.
Yeah. It is so true. What I see so many guys doing is they hit a rough patch. They hit a speed bump in their journey, on their path, and boom, here's a speed bump, and it's a wrap. Most people don't lay there forever. Okay, they don't.
Right.
Most people do actually get back up at some point in time. But the problem with that is, and this is something I really want you guys to really key in on what I'm about to say here. You probably will get back up at some point in time. It could be a month from now, it could be 10 years from now. But whenever that is, you probably will get back up. But the problem with what that most guys find themselves with this is they only get back up and travel along that path again as long as their motivation carries them.
Mm-hmm.
So you're motivated to get back up. You heard some powerful speech. You saw an inspirational meme. You heard whatever, your X, Y, and Z, whatever that is. And you're like, yeah, you know what? I'm pumped. You saw Tony Robbins one day, whatever. You get back up and you start back down that road. But the problem is that you're going to run out of gas because something else is going to slap you in the face. That bill's going to come due that you don't have the money for. Your car breaks down. Whatever happens. And then you're right back to laying back down again. Because that motivational gas, you're on E now, right? And then there you back are, because you're used to being able to do that. You know what that feels like. And so I'm just going to lay down and take it.
Right.
You have to get past motivation. If you don't, if all you rely on is motivation, you're never going to accomplish whatever it is that you're setting out to do.
So what do you rely on outside of motivation?
Discipline, self-discipline.
Yeah.
There's a reason why that motivation exists on the onset, right? Because you know that you want to accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish, whatever that goal is, getting into a relationship, leveling up at your job, starting a business, building a social circle, whatever it is, you know what that thing is. And that's why you feel motivated to do it at least sometimes, right? But that motivation is only going to take you so far. So you have to have the self-discipline to bridge those gaps between motivation. I'm working on a book right now. If I only wrote the book when I was motivated to write the book, I'd be like one chapter in. Okay.
That's like me right now. Yeah. I'm also working on it.
Okay. So you know how that goes, right? Like you don't always feel motivated to do it. But if you set aside the time to actually, start writing, even though you're like, I got no ideas, I'm, whatever. My pen ran out of ink,
It reminds me, there's a music producer I know, and he said this to me. He goes, he struggles with he has so many songs and he's such a perfectionist that he's just like, he doesn't finish any. And he's like, done is better than perfect. Finished is better than perfect. Mm-hmm. And it's so true. It's like, it's habits. That's what I was going to say. Like you said, discipline, I was going to say habit, which I actually like discipline more. Like that is going to be the motivating factor. And also accountability. If you can have accountability with someone. Yeah. So really what I'm getting at is we need to have accountability for each other too. Well, I gotta work on this book.
Well, here's the thing, like you're talking about accountability. I think that is something that is so lacking inside of our space as dating coaches and things like that. The accountability factor, it's easy to hide behind a keyboard, right? Mm-hmm. People do it all the time. You see shitty comments on people's stuff all the time. You'd never come say that to my face. Why? Because you get knocked the fuck out if you did.
Right.
So of course you're not going to say it to my face, but it's easy to be like, I'm the anonymous poster, right? So it's easy to hide. Mm-hmm. And what guys tend to do is, I've heard it said like this: guys think that they can they present themselves as that they can do two things, but actually can't do either. And that's pick up women and fight. You know,
fuck or fight, if you will.
right. They'll tell you how they can do both, but in reality, they can't do either. Okay. So so it's ego driven. I don't want to put myself out there like that. I don't want to be vulnerable enough for somebody to know my struggles, what I'm dealing with, what I'm trying to level up to, because that would be an acknowledgement that I'm not there yet. And so even guys inside of modern flirting don't take advantage of the accountability that they could, even though it's there. That's why I'm a big advocate when I do a boot camp, and I know we have one coming up, you know,
Yes, we do.
in August.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. If the guys cannot, if they cannot find their own accountability partner inside of the boot camp, I will assign them, because you need to have that. It's the buddy system. Just like when you're a little kid and you're swimming, you got the floaties on your arm and all that kind of thing. Like, look, that buddy should not let you drown, and vice versa. So if you're accountable, you're not only accountable to us as coaches, but you're accountable to somebody else as well that's on your level. I had a mentor when I was coming up, you know, when I was fresh out of high school. He was like a life mentor to me, a music mentor, all that kind of thing. And there's been a lot of stuff that stuck with me, but the predominant thing that's always stuck with me is this. He's since passed on. He's no longer with us. But one of the things that really stuck with me that he said is, a person should have 3 people in their life. They should have somebody that is a mentor above them. They should also have, you know, somebody that they're accountable to, that they're learning from, right? They should also have somebody that is on their level, that they can compare experiences to and learn and be accountable to each other to continue to level up.
Right.
They should also have somebody underneath them that they're bringing up, because even if you're at day 1 of learning something, you're still one day better, or you have one day more knowledge than the person that's at 0, right?
Right.
So, and by teaching, and I think you probably know this, I would believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but, you know, like, I learned so much from coaching. You know what I mean? By me coaching, it enables me, because I feel the need for, you know, our students and all that, I got to be on top of my game. In other words, if I'm not on top of my game, I am not doing them a service.
Right. And I know exactly what you're talking about. So I actually, you know, one of the things that we teach at Modern Flirting is social circle, right? And the importance of social circle. And, you know, and actually it was recently, I was in a class where I was like, all right, like, permission to be vulnerable for a second. Because I was talking about like my struggles and, you know, where I came from and how it wasn't always easy for me. And I had to learn this, but now my life is this. And so one of the students asked, like, well, how did you get there? Like, what, like, your background sounds a lot like my background. Like, how did you get there? And I said, well, you know, like, permission to be vulnerable. I was like, honestly, like, recently I lost 2 of my best friends. We got in a huge fight. I don't think I'm going to be friends with them anymore. And it was really hard. Imagine me, a coach, teaching social circle, and here I am in a situation where this is happening to me. And my core group of friends, I'm 32, we're at that age, right, where everyone's getting married and moving away and doing, because I live in LA and no one really stays in LA. And so I'm looking around, I was like, oh my God, my social circle has dwindled. You know what I mean? And so, of course, what happens? I'm an imposter. I'm a fraud. Like, people are going to find out, like, I'm the worst coach ever. And then it was that confidence in the belief in myself to achieve a goal. I could do this. I was like, and then it started going from, look at all this stuff that's happening to me, to look at all this stuff that's happening for me.
Right.
How much of a better coach am I going to be getting over this. So then I'm talking about how I was like, okay, what friends do I have? How can I nourish those friendships? How can I grow those friendship plants, if you will?
Mhm.
How can I, and I'm teaching them like, okay, like I saw a guy who, and you know, everyone's like, oh, I don't want to go to clubs. I don't want to go to bars. And I was like, honestly, me either. Like, don't think that that's the only answer. I was like, I saw a guy playing Catan on his phone, one of like my acquaintances that I've started getting friendlier with. And I
Yeah.
was like, I love Catan. And instead of just being like, I love Catan, me too, I was like, I'm gonna fucking murk you. He's like, what? And I was like, oh yeah, I'll murk you. Like, let's do this. So now me and like 6 other people, now we play Catan taco nights every Tuesday.
Dope.
My other friend, Steven, we play tennis every Monday with this 80-year-old woman named Dee Dee, who's like way better than me. Like all of these little things. And now it's like, okay, I'm starting to grow this other social circle.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm going to be such a better fucking coach because of this. Because now I can prove that you can do this. I don't care how old you are, because my social circle that I had previously, that's from when I was 23. And we all still hang out, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's a huge group and the whole nine. But I haven't gotten like a strong other social group for that long.
Yeah.
So of course this was going to happen, and thank God it happened, because now I'm just that much of a better coach. So
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And you know, and here's the thing. I would venture to say that most guys, you know, that are probably listening to this are probably, you know, somewhere between early 20s to mid 30s, you know, and like take it from somebody like me. I'm 45, right? Do you know how many social circles that I've been a part of in my life? You know what I mean? Like the social circle that I have now versus when I was 20 years ago is significantly different. And why is that? It's not because I'm like, oh, well, this person sucks now, I'm not going to be friends with them or whatever. No, it's just as you age, as you mature, as you start moving on to different things, and conversely, same with the other people too. They're doing whatever they got to do. You know, people move and X, Y, and Z, whatever. Look, you know, it's if you have the same social circle from the time that you're 18 to the time you die, that's pretty limited experience.
Right.
You know, I think you're missing out on a lot of opportunities if you don't, like, I used to say it like this, you know, I used to tour a lot as an artist, as a musician. All right. And it's so, like, I remember telling this to people and people just could not wrap their minds around it because they just don't understand that experience of touring like that. It's like, say Jamie, say you're a rapper, right? And we're going to go on tour. We're going to be on tour for the next 4 months. Okay. You and I would be best friends for 4 months. Okay. When at the end of that 4 months, we probably wouldn't even talk ever, maybe ever again. You know what I mean? Like we would be like such best friends for 4 months, and then I may never see that person ever again. I might not ever go on another tour with that person. It just not because I don't want to, but just because of business alignments and arrangements and time frames and blah, blah, blah.
Totally. Yeah.
But because why? Because in 2 weeks, I'm going on tour with somebody else for the next 3 months. And now I'm best friends with those guys for the next 3 months. You know what I mean? And that's just how it works. And so, you know, a lot of people can't wrap their minds around that because they don't live that kind of experience. But that's the thing. That's a very truncated version of what life, it's like a microcosm of a person's entire life shrunk down to very truncated amounts of time, right? So that's the thing. You're going to go through things. You're going to have changes in life that are going to expose you to other people. And then those other people that you were super cool with, that you could not see your life without, well, it turns out you can, because your life is still going on and they ain't in it, you know?
Right.
So, you know, it's just a part of just the life experience, I guess. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So listen, guys, here's the deal. You guys that have listened to the end of the podcast, I'm going to offer you a free gift. All right. Jamie's OnlyFans is 20%. No,
Oh my God. I told you not to say anything.
I'm going to offer you a free gift. All right. In the link in the description of the podcast, if you want a copy of The Psychology of Modern Flirting, the Attraction Ladder, that's going to give you a breakdown of every step that you need to take to start forming the types of relationships that we've been talking about for the last hour, having that lifestyle that you want to have on your terms, being able to face rejection, being able to get back up when it happens. I'm going to give you that for free. All you have to do is click the link and it is yours. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to double down on it. Reach out to us. You can reach out to me. I'm easy to find. I'm Dale Valor. Jamie,
Jamie Date on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook.
Reach out. And if you want an e-copy that you can read, cool. If you want an audio copy, cool. Just let us know what you want and it is yours and your life will be so much better for it. So listen, guys, we're dropping a podcast every week and we will see you in the next one. Peace.